All right, y'all. This was a horrific tragedy. It was a beautiful movie. I love the choices that it took with the shots. The direction was fantastic when it comes to the acting. The acting was fantastic as well. Like Edward Norton, he killed it in this movie, and it's. I just I found myself feeling for this man, even though how his viewpoints were and everything, I didn't necessarily agree with it. But after them showing us all the stuff he'd been through, I like really felt for this man. This is a very delicate topic, and I'm gonna try to be careful with it, but there's like a lot on my mind that I want to say because I appreciate this movie a lot. This is a movie that needed to be made and that a lot of people need to watch. Like, I love when movies show you the hardship and they show you the realistic, like, events that happen in people's lives, you know, stuff that people go through that changes them or whatever. And they just shows you just how disgusting it is and how devastating it is. But it's just like, that's what we need to see. That shows us the truth, you know? And like, I appreciate that. But like, I really like this movie. I do. But this is probably one of those movies that I like, but I will never see again because it's that gruesome. And like when you come to the shot with him stomping on the man on the curb like that, he stomped on him and his head like squished, like somebody stomping on a freaking pumpkin. The rape scene, that was oh my gosh. His brother getting shot, like, and the way that they shot it, it just made it just so hard to watch. That grocery store scene, that was very disturbing to watch too as well. I mean, it's just like the way that they shot these scenes with the slow motion and actually lingering on certain shots, it just made it that much more terrible. Like, I love the soundtrack in this movie. The writing was fantastic. I absolutely love the dialogue because it was pretty much like somebody talking to us. You know, like when I'm in my acting class, my acting coach says it a lot. With us being actors, pretty much our jobs is just to let the world know the truth. And this is one of those movies that they was letting the world know the truth, especially in this time frame that the movie came out, when in the 90s, you know, kind of like how it is now, where the racial tension was just, it was really high, you know, with the Rodney King incident and all of that. I'm thinking in my head, I don't know if Derek is going to go back into the same pathway that he was previously at, especially after all the stuff that happened to him. I don't know if he will go that exact same pathway, because the main reason why he went into that pathway is because he lost his father. And I know his brother meant a little bit more to him than his father did. So that's why I'm kind of like, I don't know. But after all the stuff that he's been through, he might actually try to have this experience push him into an even more better pathway, because he really wants to get his family away from this violence. It's really sad that a beautiful place like California is just that dangerous when it comes to like gang affiliation and racism. And this was a movie that definitely showed you exactly what manipulation and what hate can do to people. And I really saw those themes and those messages in this movie. And like I said, I appreciate that a lot, because that's something that people need to see. Kind of like how with Scare Straight, they try to scare kids into not going to prison or whatever. This is a movie here that a lot of people need to see. Me being a little kid, I've always tried to stay away from movies like this with tragedies and stuff, because in my mind they were kind of like horrors. It's crazy because this is more believable than a horror, because people actually go through this. Like, I will have nightmares and stuff when I see movies like this. So that's why earlier I'm talking like, I don't know how I'm asleep after watching this, because it's been a while since I've seen a movie this gruesome. Like, this was probably one of the most disturbing movies that I've ever seen. The main theme that I get here is manipulation. As you see, Derek, he was manipulated by Cameron, but the thing that really surprised me was the little seeds that his father already planted for him. I know they didn't really mention this in the movie, but it's just my assumption already about how his response was for his father dying and stuff. But if you look back at it on the interview, it makes a lot more sense after what his father already told him when it came to the interview. And that's probably kind of how Cameron was like, I want that kid. Like, that really surprised me. I really thought that his father was gonna be like the good side of him. Like, you know how you have an angel and a devil on your shoulder. Basically, he was brought up kind of that way already, just his father wasn't that strict on it. So many people were manipulated in this movie. Like, Derek was manipulated by Cameron, but like I said, had the seeds with his father. Danny was manipulated by Cameron, but also had the seeds from his brother, because he looked up to his brother and wanted to be like his brother. So that's how Cameron focused on him young and was like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure that this kid grows up like his brother. And his brother kind of did that a little bit, but still had that same past self before his father like died, where he was trying to keep his brother a little bit under wraps, you know. But even the little black kid who killed Danny, he was being manipulated, but he was being manipulated in a different sense, as kind of like with Danny wanting to grow up and, you know, make his brother proud. The little kid, he was trying to make the people he looked up to proud and trying to show off in front of them and let them know that, yeah, I can be a part of what y'all got right here. Because basically he wanted a father figure too, and it's really sad that they really took advantage of that kid too over some petty shit, blowing smoke in his face and just mugging at him. But I mean, like, in real life, people do that shit too. People getting killed over looking at somebody's girl, or they looking at them the wrong way, or stepping on their shoes. Like, it's ridiculous, man. Like, it also reminded me of like Star Wars, because I know the Empire is supposed to be like I'll say a more tamed down representation of, you know, Germany and the Nazis and Hitler and stuff like that. And Anakin, he was manipulated by Palpatine, you know, him being young, growing without a father, even though Palpatine is his father. You know, that's here nor there. But he growing up with so much lost and anger and confusion, just like Derek and Danny. And Palpatine just took advantage of that and played mind tricks on him. Because it's really messed up how Anakin, and I'm sorry that I'm going off an entirely different movie, but it's kind of have the same themes here when it comes to manipulation. But Anakin was pretty much trying to keep his mother safe, but he ended up losing his mother, and that put him a little bit towards over the edge. And then Palpatine kind of gave Anakin a vision, you know, in like a dream-like form of Padme dying. So Anakin's mission was to do everything he could to save Padme, but everything that he was doing to save Padme was the reason why Padme died.
You underestimate my power!
Which is fucked up. Like, damn. But back to American History X. I love the direction when it came to the black and white being the past scenes and the color scenes being the present scenes, but also being a different representation as somebody's viewpoint being black and white and kind of fuzzy a little bit. And then in the present, they're colorful. They can finally see now. They see the light, pretty much is what I'm getting from that right there. And I also noticed that they had different types of black and white when it comes. Some were a little lighter than the others, and others were darker, which showed like the darker moments of his life I love the chemistry between him and his family. He made some solid points here nor there, because that's another thing that's kind of messed up, how there are actually people who will live out a stereotype that will trap a certain race down. And then there are actually other people on the opposite side who will put people in that stereotypical position, or they will create a narrative to make it seem that way. And I really hope that we all keep it civil in the comments when it comes to this movie here. I would really like to know what y'all thoughts on this movie, but like I said, please be civil. I would love to know when's the first time you ever seen this movie. You know, please, I really hope that y'all enjoyed this video. You know, please like, share, comment down below, and subscribe. That definitely helps the channel grow and the video grow. I'm really not gonna see this movie ever again. Unless like this is something that I'll probably want to show to my kids, or maybe like my little siblings, to let them know exactly how rough the world actually is. You know, please follow me on Instagram and Twitter. The links will be in the description. But it was crazy to me just how much racial tension was in this movie. Like, me growing up, I never experienced any racism at all. I mean, like, I've had people call me colored and stuff, but that hasn't bothered me. I never had nobody, like, I never had stuff like that, you know, like any serious racism happen. But it was just crazy how just stuff will just blow out of proportion. Like on the basketball court, that was really uncalled for, how just stuff will blow out of proportion. And it seemed like they both were trying to antagonize each other to get them to do something, so they'll have a reason to beat their ass or to like kill them or something. Like at the beginning of the movie, I really was like, I don't think I'm gonna feel for this man at all. And then by the end of the movie, I was just like, I really don't want this man to die. And this movie like completely caught me off guard. I did not think that this movie was gonna be how it was. I thought that it was just gonna be this guy being a racist man, and I didn't think Danny was gonna be his brother. You know, I like, when it comes to movies like this, I don't never look up anything about the movie, because I want y'all to have the most genuine blind reaction there is, because I feel like that's more entertaining. I thought that Danny was just gonna be some random kid on the street that Derek was just gonna run into and try to take care of and take under his wing, and, you know, show him like all of this and everything. But the kid was still like kind at heart, you know, and kind of changing Derek a little bit in a way. Like, I thought it was gonna kind of be like that, but like I said, with a lot of racism like themes in it, with him being very racist and having a lot of anger and stuff. And I thought that he was probably gonna have like some threats with like different gangs or with like the police or something like that. But it was like an entirely different thing. And it had so much heart in it. And I feel like if it would have been that way that I thought it was gonna be, it probably would have gotten stale very quickly. But the fact that it was how it actually was made the movie like pretty much a masterpiece, man. I would have to give this movie a 9B. I know there's probably videos of people breaking down almost every scene of this movie, almost every line. I know there's probably articles of people doing the same thing. I'm probably gonna have to look some up. I appreciate all y'all for y'all support and everything. We're, you know, for helping me get to where I want to be, and hopefully we'll still be growing and everything. Hopefully I can get to like 20,000 or 30,000 or 40,000 subs before the summer. But I'll definitely see y'all on the next one. Peace.